we rolling? Are we rolling?
Are we
rolling?
rolling?
Okay, good. Hey, we're rolling. All right. All right. So it's all good to be here. And this is our take 2 attempt on demonstrating some of the basic things about an enlarger station. So it's all going to go right today, isn't it? Yeah, it's all going to go right. So, as I have already talked about a little bit, before you even get to the point where you can be in the darkroom working on all this, you need to cover the chapter that's in the text, half of the appendix in the back. You need to spend a little time up here, and you need to pass the camera test, not the camera test, the enlarger test, which is going to be a hands-on thing to do with the TAs, and you're going to do it in the darkroom. Okay, it's easy to do all that stuff out here. It's different when you're in safe light conditions. So, and I have that little diagram that I hope you put in your notes. And there's other information online if you want to get it. And then I put this little list on the board, kind of like a step-by-step guide to how this is going to work. The first one is sign up. Sign up. That helps keep us organized. Sign-up sheets are right here. Your class period is right here. You can plan your time way in advance so that you can stay organized. I like that. And you sign up for a station, say like station 2. Go to that station. If you sign up for station 2 and I find you somewhere else in the darkroom, I'll be upset. Because other people are planning on using a certain station. Some people get real attached to certain stations. And then you're theirs and they get upset and there's so many little problems like that. And if you borrow a set of filters, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, use the number filter for that station as well. And bring them back. The third thing on there is to put the negative into the bellows of the enlarger head. That's right here. As we've already talked about, your negative is going to be in a little slide carrier, which is not the normal way we do things, but this works just fine. It works really fine. You just slide it into the negative carrier. So you notice there's a round ring on the bottom, and the slide will be on the top, the negative will be on the top. Simply separate those two bellows like that. Slide this in. Oh. Yeah. Now here's a hot tip that somebody's not going to listen to and hear. Make sure the shiny side of your negative is up. Always. Shiny side up. If it's not, and you have some word like, you know, somebody's wearing a Nike sweatshirt, right? If you don't have the shiny side up, it's going to say Eakin. Instead of Nike. And then I'm going to ask you, hey, what does that say? And you're going to go, it says Nike. So, your negative is in the negative carrier. Next step involves this little handle, this little crank right here. This raises and lowers the whole enlarger head, the whole enlarger assembly. This is how enlargers get their name. When the light's on, this will be projecting through, and your negative image is going to be much larger. It's enlarged. That's the word enlarged. No big deal. So you're going to move it up and down to adjust the size of your actual image frame that you want to work with. But without turning on the light, you won't see anything. So now you want to look at the timer. Down here on the lower right, there are two little buttons on the timer. One of them puts the timer into timer mode. You can regulate exactly how long the light's on. And the other one has a button that says outlet focus, or something like that. You press that one when you want to have the light just on. So you can focus and compose your negative. So you'll do that. You'll be seeing your image down here, but it might be hard to see. So underneath here, there's a lens. The lens has different f-stops just like your camera. Turn it left or right until your image is extremely much easier to work with. Raise it up or down, whichever, point you like. And then you need to focus it. That involves this. The grain magnifier. I showed this to you earlier. Make sure you place it right on the easel, not on the base, right on the easel, the exact altitude your paper is going to be at. And then this gets tricky. This is really tricky. You have to look through the grain magnifier, just like that. While you're looking through it, you have to put your hand on the fine focus knob. Because even though you've raised this up and down and maybe already turned the fine focus knob a little bit, whatever you're seeing there is not perfectly in focus, because you just can't do it with your eye. You have to use the grain magnifier. So you look through there like this. And you'll actually see the microscopic particles of your negative. You're not going to see hey, there's Joey down there, I know him. You're going to see actual particles of your negative. When it's in focus, set the grain magnifier aside. Don't move the easel. Put this back on timer mode. These things will become just second nature to you. Put it on timer mode, and if you went all the way one way or the other to get it bright, turn it exactly the other way right now. Make it all dim. And I work with people, and I've heard people say, go all the way dim. This thing clicks. Can you hear it? Yeah, you can hear it click. Okay. I've heard people say, go all the way dim and come back 1, 2, 3 clicks. So all the way bright and go back 3. No. Everybody messes it up. Just go dim. All the way dim. It works better. Usually it takes a little bit longer to make your exposure, and that's good. Now you got to make a test strip. And I probably threw my old ones away. To make a test strip, you're going to need, let's see, I'll just use, here we go. There we go. Improvise. A test strip is simply a small, narrow piece of paper like this. It's part of your image. Love this. And you can tell that it has different gradations of exposure on here. You make this by slipping a piece of paper into the easel like that. And then in the darkroom you'll find different pieces of very opaque paper. You wouldn't be using white paper. You want something that blocks the light. And you're going to cover up, just about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. You're going to set your timer to about 5 seconds. Now, it's just a beginning recommendation. Everybody's negative is going to be a little different. Set it to about 5 seconds. And then at the bottom of the timer, there's a rectangular button. Tap that. And when you're in the timer mode, the light's going to come on for 5 seconds. Get it? You set it for 5 seconds, it comes on for 5 seconds. Makes a little beep. Then move this down about another 1/2 inch or so. Hit the button. Do it again. Do it again. So you do a whole bunch of beeps. And if you're a mathematical genius, like I know you are, I've already figured out, hey, I get it. I pressed that little beepy button 6 times. 5 times 6 is 30. That means this first little section over here got 30 seconds. The last little section here only got 5. And in between there's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. All the way up to 30. And now I can look at this and figure out, looks like 20 seconds is like perfect. That's what you will set your timer to later. Put a full piece of paper in there, and off you go. Your test strip, once you've made your, the exposure settings there, develop this, bring it in the classroom. You already know how to do all of that. But do not just look at it in the dark room. That's too dark. Make a new one. You've got to bring it in here. And you probably need me or somebody else to help read it at first. So after you made that, and don't put it through the print dryer, please. You tend to get stuck in it. Just dry it off. And hang on to it. So So after you make your test strip, you'll be slipping in a piece of paper. If 20 seconds is the right time, you'll set that to 20. Beep. Take the paper out, develop it, yada yada yada, come in here, and you're good. Then you're going to take this later. I can hear them. And you're going to place it over your print so that it blends in seamlessly. This is a great test of your printing ability, because if you change anything, if you are not paying attention and you raise this up a little bit, or you wiggle it, or you go away for a week and come back, pretend like everything's just fine, they won't match. You've got to make your test strip and turn right around and make your print. The last term, that's all I had everybody turn in. This term is going to be a little different. This term, after you make that first print, don't put anything away. Don't change nothing. Come over here and grab the set of filters for your station. There's a whole bunch in here. You don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about them all. We've got to have that. Okay? You just want to worry about the number 3 filter. We use those a lot. You're going to take the number 3 filter. You're going to put it in this little filter tray right here. Turn it so that your light now is going through the filter and it hits the paper. You're going to set your timer back to 5, make a new test strip, because it's going to change a little bit. We just changed a variable here. We just inserted a filter. That's a change. Make a new test strip, read the new test strip, make a new print. They're going to be a little different. And if my guess is right, the one that you did with the filter might be a little richer and have a little better distribution of blacks and values, which is why we use it. So lastly, you made all your prints, you saved all your test strips. At the end, put away your filter, bring it back in here, put the tray back where it was, take your negative out, leave the negative carrier in there. There's a nice gesture. You can set your timer back to 0. And crank this thing up about eyeball high here. Turn off everything. Bring everything back in here. So the next person finds a nice, neat, tidy, Enlarger station. What a nice class.
Done.
Okay. That's all I have. Okay, so after this, I'm going to give you a small little lecture about how the